I was yelled at, cursed at.
Lorraine Mavromatis claims she was subject to sexual harassment and gender bias.
I was obligated to attend one-on-one meetings at the CEO's house by myself in an upstairs room only lit by a side lamp.
Her lawsuit claims male employees would tell women to shut up in meetings and mock female participants in MrBeast video.
There was a stretch where Jimmy Donaldson didn't just look successful, he looked untouchable. The biggest YouTuber in the world, miles ahead of everyone else, with no real rival even close. His entire image was built around giving, dropping huge amounts of money, helping strangers, feeding crowds, and turning generosity into content that spread like wildfire online. Viewers were locked in. It wasn't just videos anymore. It felt like a wave, something people believed in, and millions jumped on board without hesitation. For a long time, it honestly seemed like nothing could crack that level of trust or slow down the momentum he had built. But now, in April 2026, the energy feels different, and it's not just one situation, it's multiple things lining up. Problems are starting to pile up. Legal filings, leaked info, and people from inside speaking out, all hinting at a much more complicated reality behind the scenes.
Tonight, MrBeast's companies are facing a legal challenge of their own, just as Jimmy Donaldson himself took the stage at the Time 100 Summit as one of the world's most influential people. Former employee Lorraine Mavromatis filing a federal lawsuit in North Carolina, claiming she faced discrimination, retaliation, was required to work while on maternity leave, and was terminated within a few weeks of returning to the job, told she was too high caliber for the position.
The narrative now suggests the empire may have expanded too quickly, becoming harder to manage, and possibly slipping under leadership that wasn't fully in control. Then things escalated fast. On April 22, 2026, a federal lawsuit dropped from a former Beast Industries executive, Lorraine Mice, and the details immediately caught attention. She came into the company in 2022 as head of Instagram, and she wasn't just meeting expectations, she was standing out. Within a single year, she earned 2 promotions, moved up the ladder b'surat, and started handling bigger responsibilities across different areas of the business. This wasn't someone falling short. This was someone gaining trust and building a strong reputation internally.
The lawsuit also alleges Mavromatis was contacted to work while on maternity leave, and that the company never gave her required notice of her rights under the Family and Medical Leave Act.
Jimmy Donaldson himself, he says that you've got to get the job done, and there's no excuses.
Her suit claims she feared retaliation if she refused to work during her leave, and was on a work conference call while in the labor and delivery room, and traveled to Brazil for a shoot with soccer star Neymar a few weeks after giving birth.
But if Neymar wins, I will donate it to whatever charity he chooses.
No mother would want to leave their newborn baby behind to go to work, especially out of the country when you're breastfeeding your baby. That's the last thing that I wanted to do.
She even stepped away from her own social platforms completely, just to avoid any claims that she was benefiting off Jimmy's name, which shows serious commitment. That's what makes what comes next feel even more intense. But then, according to the lawsuit, everything took a sharp turn. She claimed she was pushed out of important meetings, spaces that were mostly male-dominated, while also being talked down to right in front of co-workers and eventually facing sexual harassment.
This clout-chasing complaint is built on deliberate misrepresentations and categorically false statements, and we have the receipts to prove it. There is extensive evidence, including Slack and WhatsApp messages, company documents, and witness testimony that unequivocally refutes her claims. We will not submit to opportunistic lawyers looking to manufacture a payday from us.
When she finally reported it in November 2023, it didn't go through some outside or neutral system. It went straight to the head of HR, Sue Purr, who is Jimmy Donaldson's own mother.
It's obtained by NBC News show Mavromatis' signature on an employee handbook dated 4 days before giving birth, which laid out the company's maternity leave policies, something Mavromatis says she doesn't remember.
So you never signed any sort of FMLA documents 4 days before you gave birth?
No, I do not recall signing, and I was never informed of my rights.
NBC News also reviewed a message in which Mavromatis appears to express a willingness to go to Brazil.
That detail alone had people questioning how complaints were really handled inside the company. According to the lawsuit, things didn't improve after she spoke up. Instead, she says she was demoted, and the situation got even worse once she became pregnant. What came next turned into one of the most intense claims in the entire case. She alleges that Beast Industries failed to properly inform her about her rights under the Family and Medical Leave Act, which is supposed to guarantee up to 12 weeks of unpaid leave for situations like childbirth.
Is absolutely unacceptable, which rolls us right into page 19. No does not mean no. For the people out there who are saying, he's not edgy anymore, he's learned, this document is pretty new and references some of his newer videos. He has not learned. This is who he is. So the title No Does Not Mean No is a very obvious reference to essay. Instead of communicating in a professional manner, saying be persistent when you're producing or working, no does not mean no is the company culture of MrBeast.
She says there wasn't even a clear parental leave policy laid out, and instead of being able to step away, she felt pressure to stay involved with work. It allegedly got so extreme that she joined a work call while she was in labor at the hospital. She described trying to control her breathing between contractions just so no one on the call would realize what was happening. That detail alone shocked a lot of people. Then, only 3 weeks after she returned, she says she was fired, with the company claiming she was too high caliber for the role she held. Beast Industries didn't stay quiet about it either. They responded fast. A spokesperson dismissed the lawsuit as a clout-chasing complaint, accusing her of distorting facts and presenting a misleading version of events. They even shared internal Slack messages and pointed to an employee handbook, saying it shows she was fully aware of her FMLA rights the entire time. On top of that, they claimed she made the personal choice to stay active during her maternity leave. So now there are two completely different versions of the story, both detailed, both serious, and at some point, it's going to come down to what actually stands up in court. But there's one part that hasn't really been disputed, and it might be the most revealing piece of everything. Inside the company's own internal culture document from 2025, certain lines raised major concerns. Phrases like, "the amount of hours you work is irrelevant," and even, "no does not mean no," were reportedly included in official materials given to employees at a company valued around $5 billion. That kind of language instantly raised eyebrows and sparked serious debate about what the internal culture might really look like behind closed doors. And this didn't just come out of nowhere. Legal pressure had already been building long before this latest lawsuit surfaced. Back in September 2024, former contestants from Beast Games filed a class action lawsuit against the production companies and Amazon, and since then, more contestants have stepped forward to join in.
Several contestants said that they had not received their medication on time, including one contestant who needed insulin, instead receiving it hours or even days after their scheduled dosing times. This is so dangerous to a diabetic. This is awful.
The show itself was supposed to be massive, 1,000 contestants competing for a $5 million prize, backed by a $100 million budget. Jimmy even called it his magnum opus, the biggest project he had ever created. When it dropped on Amazon Prime in December 2024, it smashed records and picked up multiple Guinness World Records, making it look like a complete success on the surface. But behind the scenes, things were already starting to fall apart in ways most viewers never saw coming.
Class action lawsuit claiming the Amazon Prime show exploited the labor of the contestants, alleging sexual harassment and a hostile work environment. The show, a partnership between MrBeast, Jimmy Donaldson, and Amazon Prime Video, marketed Beast Games as the biggest reality competition series ever, with 1,000 contestants competing for a $5 million cash prize, the biggest single prize in the history of television and streaming. But now 5 of those contestants claiming the show didn't provide fair wages or even bare minimum legal working conditions. Many are still awaiting their promised reimbursement.
According to people who were actually there, the experience was far more intense and troubling. The lawsuit includes claims of serious issues, allegations of sexual harassment on set, contestants getting physically injured during challenges, and claims that proper medical care wasn't always provided afterward. Some participants were reportedly carried out on stretchers, while others were pushed to keep going under conditions that didn't seem safe at all. There are also claims that contestants didn't get enough food, had very little sleep, and weren't given proper meal breaks. Women allegedly went days without access to basic hygiene products, which added another layer of concern. When complaints were raised, the lawsuit claims some male executives treated it like a joke and didn't take it seriously. What makes this even more striking is that a similar pattern shows up in Lorraine Mace's lawsuit too, meaning both employees and contestants are pointing to comparable issues from completely different angles.
MrBeast's production company and Amazon hit with a proposed class action lawsuit filed in the fall by 6 anonymous contestants who claim sexual harassment, that they were misled, and that the show exploited them.
They say they were in unreasonable, unsafe, and unlawful employment conditions. How do you respond to that?
I gotta let the lawyers handle that. I can't comment on it, but I can say I personally talked to 700-800 contestants. They all want to come back. They all had a great time, and you can watch their content online, and I think it speaks for itself.
Then there's another claim that really grabbed attention. The production lawsuit says contestants were pressured into signing paperwork that may not have been fully legitimate. The claim goes even further, alleging that all of this was done to help Beast Industries secure tax credits in Nevada. That's not just sloppy management anymore. That's something that could become very serious if it's actually proven true. When these stories first started leaking, even before the show officially dropped, Jimmy Donaldson spoke out on X, saying there was a huge amount of behind-the-scenes footage that would show the truth. He pushed back hard, claiming the situation was being exaggerated. He explained that he couldn't release the footage yet because it would spoil the show, and later, during an appearance on Good Morning America, he repeated a similar message. He said he personally spoke with 700 to 800 contestants, and according to him, they all had a great experience. Still, those statements didn't fully quiet the growing concerns. Despite all the controversy, the business side hasn't slowed down at all. Amazon moved forward and renewed the show for 2 more seasons, and Beast Industries continues to bring in massive funding, including a $200 million raise at a $5 billion valuation in early 2026. On the surface, everything looks solid, but when you step back, a pattern starts to become harder to ignore. Back in 2023, Jimmy filed a lawsuit against MrBeast Burger over food quality issues, and the company responded with a major countersuit, accusing him of using pressure tactics to gain more control.
He countersued MrBeast and Beast Ventures for breach of contract. Quote, "This case is about a social media celebrity who believes his fame means that his word does not matter, that the facts do not matter, and that he can renege and breach his contractual obligations without consequence." And Virtual Dining Concepts contends that when they contracted with Donaldson, the parties agreed that MrBeast would, quote, "become the face of a virtual restaurant brand in exchange for a share of the revenue and later a stake in the business." VDC says that Donaldson was the one who pushed the rapid expansion of Beast Burger. Quote, "While plaintiffs originally planned to open MrBeast Burger in a smaller select number of locations, defendants pushed plaintiffs to open MrBeast Burger in as many locations as possible."
Then in 2025, officials in Mexico opened an investigation after filming took place at Chichen Itza, with claims involving restricted areas and concerns about promoting products in protected locations. Even the Mexican president called for a review of how those permits were approved.
Mexican authorities suing a company they say helped YouTube megastar MrBeast produce this now viral video.
Why is this not in a museum? Why is a YouTuber holding this? Get this away from me.
Titled, "I Explored 2,000-Year-Old Ancient Temples." The video has racked up over 60 million views in less than a week.
This is the door to the inside of this massive Mayan temple.
Authorities say the video taken inside the nation's ancient pyramids violated the terms of government permissions.
We're gonna visit this bad boy.
In the video, MrBeast, whose real name is James Donaldson, explores ancient Mayan cities in southeastern Mexico.
Can I take one home?
Well, I do. We'll go to jail.
I would go to jail?
Yeah, sir.
At one point, the influencer, who has 395 million subscribers on YouTube, surprised at the level of access.
I can't believe the government's letting us do this.
Now in 2026, the Beast Games class action lawsuit is still ongoing, and the new federal case from Lorraine Mice is adding even more pressure. Each situation is different on its own, but together, they start pointing in a similar direction. A company moving fast, pushing limits, and acting like the usual rules don't fully apply. And that's where things start to get serious. Jimmy Donaldson is only 27, and he built a massive empire at crazy speed, mostly by pouring everything he earned right back into bigger and bigger content. He placed family and close friends into major roles.
Well, I wasn't as confident in my ability to be successful, and when you're probably 20 and you're hiring all these people, I have high risk tolerance, but I'm reinvesting every dollar I make. I'm hiring my friends from school. I've hired my mom. Like, these people I really care about are depending on me. And then, I upload a video and it does bad. And then people, I pour all my time and effort into it, but, maybe it doesn't come across as well. Like the video, and, some people might have interpreted it as lazy. And you read a comment being like, wow, what a fucking lazy. Like
his cousin as CEO, his mother running HR, and that kind of setup might slide when things are small and simple. But once you're running a company with hundreds of employees, major investors, and serious legal responsibility across the country, it hits very different. That's what makes this situation feel so intense. The entire MrBeast brand is built on generosity, helping people, giving back, changing lives in front of millions. But now, you've got a former employee claiming she stayed on a work call while in labor because she felt like she couldn't step away, while contestants from a $100 million production are saying they didn't get proper food or care. That gap between the image people see online and what's being claimed behind the scenes isn't small, it's massive. And once people start noticing that kind of disconnect, it sticks and keeps growing louder. Financially, Jimmy still looks solid. Huge investments, ongoing deals, and hundreds of millions of viewers still watching every move. The Lorraine Mace lawsuit could settle quietly, and the Beast Games case might take years to fully play out. That's usually how things go at this level, but reputation doesn't move the same way business deals do. For over a decade, MrBeast carefully built one of the strongest images on the internet. The guy who gives, the one who helps, the one who makes a difference. But now, every lawsuit, every leak, and every insider speaking out starts to chip away at that image piece by piece. Because here's the truth, you can win in court and still lose how people see you. Right now, Jimmy Donaldson isn't just being judged for his videos or giveaways anymore, he's being judged for what's happening inside the company he created. And that's where things stand. Still unfolding, still developing, and if we're being honest, this story might not be over yet. So what do you think about all of this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video so more people can join the conversation. And stay tuned for what comes next.